And this is already going well because my kids have just run in to go to the toilet. Just as soon as I hit record, they're busting in the door.
Or it's almost worth leaving it in.
I think we just leave it in because that's what we're here to talk about.
Life. Messy life.
They both want to use the toilet. I don't know how they're both doing it, but
Hey, toilets are that. So I
anyway,
suppose we should start with at least welcoming us to what's our podcast called? When the Gin Settles?
yeah, when the gin settles. Or after the gin settles.
After the Gin Settles. We might get this right. It's going to be our first time here. Um, so did you want to go first? Give me a bit of an introduction because this was sort of your idea and I just was a hanger-onerer.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm Elissa and I don't know, I'm 37 and I'm a mum of two and I'm married and we've got a dog and both of my children are on the spectrum. One's diagnosed and one's in the process of being diagnosed at the moment. And other than that, I work in preventing violence space, working with lots of sporting clubs. And before I did that, I was a teacher for 12 years. I do a little bit of casual teaching, but mostly I enjoy sort of the advocacy space in that preventing violence role. And then I navigate life with the absolute chaos that is being a mum of two, with the extra challenge of them being on the spectrum. How about you? Who are you?
Well, who am I? So I am Haidee. I am the older sister, so probably the better sister of the two of us. Um, and I suppose to start to say that we live 700 or no, what is it, 7 hours apart. So this is being recorded over online, which will bring its own unique challenges, but it's the way we communicate. So I am also a mum of two. I have a 13-year-old daughter who is on the spectrum, and I have a son that will forever be 5. And so there is a significant amount of grief in our family. Um, but I am married. I am a nurse and have been a neonatal intensive care nurse for the last 17 years. So a really high-paced, high-pressure environment, but one that I absolutely love. I love Pilates. It's been my recent finding that for my great for my mental health. But also, like Elissa, I am navigating the absolute craziness of being a mum and a woman and a employee and a breadwinner and all of the rest of it in the one nutshell. I think we're both pretty open and honest and raw. And you'll probably not get through a podcast without one of us swearing at each other for one point or just at the world in general. So I guess if that's not your cup of tea, it's probably good to run out now because I'm pretty sure one of us will tell each other to fuck off in the near future. So, Lisa, do you want to go ahead and explain why you started this podcast?
Yeah, I think like the other thing that I'm currently struggling with is I've entered perimenopause about 4 years ago. Not that I could get a GP to agree with me. So navigating that and having within that process of my everything going nuts with me, realizing that my children were not typical compared to their peers and navigating this space of trying to get them diagnosed, trying to get them supports, trying to work through the NDIS approval system and then work through kinder funding and then work through school funding. I think I was just at a breaking point where I didn't know if I was going to go insane, if I was already insane and just living in this world trying to just be insane, or if I was completely lost and I was just doing it wrong because it felt harder than it needed to be. Like, just, I look at friends and family members and think, geez, I don't understand why I'm finding this so hard. And I don't, and like parenting and working, everything just seemed really hard.
But you see everything online and it's all glossy and rosy and you can do it all. And, you can work full time and you can have a perfect house and a perfect child, and you can be involved in all of their sports and still volunteer. Well, you can, but it's actually not as perfect and as neat and tidy, and something's got to give. And I think that's what this is developed for. It's the fact that there's still dishes in the sink. It's the fact that we're sitting here without bras on because it's a Sunday night and you're trying to put two kids to bed. I've come off night duty this morning, and it's just raw. It's open. It's wild. Um, and we're both sitting here drinking our gin, just trying to figure out how the hell we've got through another week.
Yeah. And I think that, I mean, why I really asked you if you wanted to do it rather than asking anybody else is that we do live 7 hours apart. But you're my main sort of support network. And other than ringing you on my commute or your commute, that's about the only time we ever get to talk. This is just a wonderful opportunity for me to ring you and be like, hey, I want to start a podcast. Would you like to see if we can make it work? But the benefit for me is that I then get scheduled time where you have to listen to me.
I mean, I can still mute
we
you.
actually get to catch up. We had a lot of technical issues at the start and you couldn't hear me at all anyway, so I was just talking
No,
to
I
myself
couldn't.
anyway.
And considering you're the younger sibling and meant to be more technologically sound, I felt very young and fresh, as watching you try to navigate how to turn on the microphone.
Yes. So the podcast idea came about. I've thought of it a few times and haven't really said anything. It's always something that's interested in me. I enjoy listening to podcasts and I enjoy when I get to hear from people who are working through similar things as what I'm working through, that show how raw and real life things are in comparison to constantly consuming like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, which is all really wonderful and rosy and might be real for the person who's posting it, but it's unlikely. Because what I post on my Facebook and Instagram is definitely the best parts of my life.
Absolutely.
Other than when I'm advocating for things. And I went through a miscarriage before I had my children, and it's something that I will advocate for. And people are always really surprised when I share things on my Facebook or my Instagram that I'm happy to share it, that I'm not embarrassed by it, which makes me wonder how many people have lived their life after experiencing something like that, like a miscarriage or a stillbirth or a loss of a child, and are too embarrassed or scared to share.
And
So
I mean,
hopefully
going
this
back,
podcast lands.
yeah, and I suppose this is just an introduction to who we are and what we're thinking of doing. And I suppose the next few, we will sort of loosely pick a topic and go through it. But I think today is just more of a get to know us and what we're about. I suppose there's a lot of topics that we both want to cover. We've both gone through menopause early. We've both had losses. You've had a miscarriage. I lost my son at 5. I had infertility issues. We both have neurodiverse children. We both work in industries that are very heavy and taxing on us, but ones that we love, and I love advocating. We love volunteering in different aspects because of what it brings us, because it does fill our cup even when we are completely exhausted. We both love gin, so it's going to be a part of our topic. We both have a surname previously. Our maiden name was Gin, and a lot of people, pronounced it gin. And so I think it's just, it's no surprise that we're sitting here over a glass of gin trying to figure out the world. So yeah, I suppose we should go back to, how was your week? Have you survived another week?
Yeah, I have just survived another week. I was in Melbourne last week. my project was nominated for an award. So I'd flown down to Melbourne on the tiny plane that goes there, flown back, and guaranteed, I don't know if anyone else experiences this, but guaranteed when you're on an airplane, you're going to end up sick. Um, just close proximity to people. So,
Viruses, bugs.
yeah, so I spent quite a bit of this week very unwell. Got antibiotics on Tuesday. So that wiped out sort of the middle of my week and then went back to work Friday just to sort of putt it from a very short distance home and then just start the chaos of the weekend. Like you do a full week at work. For me, you're like you obviously got shift work and very different hours to me. Mine's just office hours with a bit of overtime, but you do that whole week of work or sick or whatever, and then the whole weekend you've got sport and running kids around and birthday parties and everything like that. So it just flies by in a flash. I did not clean my house this weekend. I focused mainly on the main family living areas, making sure that they were fine. The, everything else did not happen. I did not clean a bath. I did not clean a shower. I did not clean a toilet. Not going to apologise.
Did
How
do a
was
bit of
your
it
week?
clean, but that is, yeah, look, my week, so I work 12-hour shifts, so I'm lucky enough to only work 3 of those a week, um, but did do 2 day shifts and 1 night shift, which always throws your body out. So I actually worked Thursday, Friday days and then into Saturday night, and then was up after 3 hours today to attend my daughter's football game where I was her first aid officer, which is always hairy on 3 hours sleep. If there's going to be an incident, you're like, yep, I guess I will deal with it then. But we actually did do some cleaning on Saturday, so the house looks less like a bomb's gone off. And that was mainly because our fur child, our 15-month-old Labrador who chews everything, had defluffed about 3 of her toys. So I actually needed to find a floor. Because apparently she performed a squeakectomy every day this week while I was busy. So yes, the house cleaning was done, but only the basics. It's certainly not something that I'm a perfectionist at. And other than that, this week I attended a couple of Pilates classes. I had a couple of work meetings. So it's just been a bit of a messy week, but normal messy for me. And yeah, so football game today. They won, which is nice. Their first win of the season, which is really proud of them as an under 16
Yay!
team. And then we went to the Richmond game on Friday night, so that was a late night after work, having worked 12 hours and then head to the football. But at least our seats are close to the bar, so I could get a few cheeky vinos in just to finish the night off.
I'm surprised you didn't mention Richmond in your opening. I'm a staunch Bulldog supporter and I'm a little bit flushed-faced today because I've just watched them win one of the closest games this season and I actually finished the game on my knees praying that Bontempelli could hold on to the ball for the last 10 seconds and win us the game. Thank God he did. But you didn't mention Richmond in your introduction, which I'm very surprised about.
And considering we had a win this week, it's surprising because we haven't had many this year. It's been a wooden spoon type of year. But yes, I have a very big soft spot for Richmond, and they were an amazing club for us, particularly when my son was very sick. And they helped us make some very special memories. They're not helping us make many special memories at the moment, but they're trying their best. And I guess, as I tell my daughter, you've got to be in it to win it, and you've got to put on your best face and try. And I hope that maybe, possibly, could be they could be doing it.
I think you've had your time in the sun, though, to be honest. I think.
And I mean, when you've got more players out injured than you actually field a team, it is a little bit hard to be competitive.
Yeah, I'm feeling that. This is at risk of becoming a football podcast, so we might just circle back. Um, we don't want that. I think one of the main things that we really want to talk about is the challenges of having neurodivergent children. So was there anything this week that broke you in that vein?
I think today was probably a tough one. She played a really good game where they were winning, and nearly got to kick her first goal, and then unfortunately the other team actually had to forfeit because they had multiple players out and had multiple ambulances called. And that was a big emotion and a big change in her routine. And so it actually involved her having a meltdown in the car on the way home. And I'm aware that when I'm tired, I'm not the best mother I can be, and I'm not the best human. And so to try to be patient while she's crying, and you just think, mate, you've still won a game. Like, what's your problem? But for her, it was big emotions with, she wanted to actually finish the game. She wanted to keep playing. She'd put her hand up to play for the other team so they could keep fielding a team, and she was hoping to get her first goal. So it was those big emotions that when you are tired and on your last legs, you just aren't your best person. We've got through it, ran her a nice soaky bath to relieve those muscles and give her a bit of TLC and time, and I think we've got it through, but that was the biggest one today. And what about you?
Yeah, yep. We're currently in the process of investigating NDIS funding for my daughter. Um, with my son, it was very much me advocating for him, knowing that there was something missing with him, that he needed support, he needed help. I needed support and I needed help. So it was very much me pushing the process along. With my daughter, it's been a little bit of a different experience with sort of kinder approaching us and saying that things aren't quite right. Their suggestion was just to repeat kinder next year, which that was our first conversation that something might need to be done. And I think I took great offence to that. And in the last sort of 4 weeks, we've been investigating what's possibly going on. So she's been visiting a lot of therapists, getting a lot of assessments done. And this Thursday, just gone, she had her first meeting with the company down here is called Interreach that links in with the NDIS. So we had our first meeting with them, just going through all of our concerns, all of Kinder's concerns, speech, OT. I had done the process before, so I was pretty well prepared with a number of
Isn't that the
reports.
most horrific thing to sit there as a parent and have to talk about your child's worst day? And I don't know whether it's changed now, but when we went through it with our two kids, you had to say it in front of them about their worst day.
Yeah, yep. So it was the
And
same, yep.
yep, it's just horrific.
Yeah, yep. And like that system all works on their worst day. What are the worst things that are happening? It's really emotionally intensive. And then you get to the school funding system, and I found that frustrating on the other side with my son going through that system last year, because every form that they sent home, which is about 4 or 5 bloody different things for me to fill in for this whole process, and it was all about what does he enjoy doing, what is he good at, what's his favourite thing, and all this stuff. And I'm like, why am I filling this form out? Like, what are his needs? So there's no balance between those two systems, I don't feel. One, you've just got to talk about everything that you're struggling with in front of your child, and the other one, you're filling in fluffy forms. And I get equally frustrated at both systems. But the NDIS, this early intervention meeting, I think it's just like it. I felt like it sounded like I didn't like her, and then I get a lot of mum guilt about that. And so yeah, I had a big crash out Thursday. I was meant to go to work afterwards and just messaged my boss and was like, I'm going to take a carer's leave day. Couldn't get her back into kinder anyway. She'd chucked it by then. Instead of getting there at 9, it was midday by then. She's pretty hard to get into kinder as it is. So
And
definitely
then
not
the
going to.
routine's out the door because you're not
Yeah.
there at the usual time, and that throws them all out, and it's really hard.
Yeah. Yeah. So that did break me this week, and just a lot of tears, a lot of sitting at the bottom of the shower crying. And then, yeah, in the same time, Maisie's gone through 2 sets of knickers because for toilet training, but she won't do poos on the toilet. So it's just, yeah, it's a lot.
And I mean, I were talking about struggles, but have you had any wins this week?
Oh, yeah. My son got his first best on ground for his soccer game. So he was absolutely stoked at that. We've also had a really nice day today. We went to a friend's daughter's birthday party, and the kids have just been best friends today, which is just beautiful to watch. They genuinely, more often than not, are absolutely in love with each other. But today they were just following each other around the park, helping each other with whatever bit of equipment there was. They were rolling down the big hill at one of our local parks. Was great to see because that's something that we used to do when we went on holiday in Adelaide. We'd always go down the big
Down the
hills
big
at the
hill.
caravan park. Yeah, so that felt really good as a family. It felt like a bit of a win for us. No one ran off. No one, like everyone listened, which is
No one ran
unusual.
into a car.
What about you? Any big wins on your side?
I think for me, the big win this week is I've managed to find a dress for the
No.
ball that I've been invited to. And I found someone who can take it in and make it feel a bit better, which was a bit of a stress for me to try to find because I'm definitely not a thin, twiggy stick. But I've been invited to a ball in Brisbane to be the guest speaker, so need to actually look like I can scrub up okay and not a bogan. So yeah, finding a nice dress and finding someone to take it in, which will happen this week. So I think that was a big win. Yeah, but it's been an okay week.
Just lost Haidee. This is now just me and my podcast. So while we try and get Haidee back, I have a lovely blood orange gin that I am enjoying. And I also have some prosciutto that I'm going to eat. So hopefully Haidee can get back in. We've just lost her a little bit. She might message me in a minute, but she seems to have dropped out. So we'll see if she can get back in. She might have just been like, this is a shit idea and I'm off. Who knows? Oops, sorry about the prosciutto opening. Who likes prosciutto out there? Isn't it amazing? But yes. Haidee was just talking about her invitation to be the guest speaker at a ball in Brisbane, which I think is an amazing achievement for her. So the ball is actually for a charity event, and it is for Feel the Magic, which is no, it's not. Sorry, not Feel the Magic. No, that was the other amazing charity. It is the Ladybird Foundation, which is an amazing organisation that supports people through the loss of a child, I believe. I'm not quite sure. I'm not sort of up there with exactly what kind of loss, but it's like a grieving process where you get a mentor and a mentee. You're the mentee, sorry, and you get a mentor who helps you through the grieving process. Someone who's been through a similar situation as you, so you can have a really good connection with them. So she's going to be a guest speaker there and talk about HARPS and everything they went through. And everything before and after, really. So, yeah, that's sort of where she's going. But we'll see if we can get her back, hey? Okay, well, she said that she can't get back in. So we're going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, if you want to stick around to see where this podcast goes, definitely jump back in. We're going to keep talking about sort of our lives, things that we're finding easy, things that we're struggling with. I don't think I'm finding anything easy, but we're going to have a go at it. And we'll always be here with a gin to unpack the week and see what happens after the gin settles. And hopefully we've given you that vibe of like sitting with some friends at the end of a night, unpacking your life, and hopefully you'll join us again, and come back for more. We'll definitely be unpacking some of our favourite topics as we go along. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm sorry Haidee dropped out. We will be working on our technical things and getting better at this, but yeah, this is our first podcast both. So please come back. We would love for you to join our family. All right. Thanks. Bye, guys.